Okay, let's talk about all the little things that this bike is missing and will go without, even though the bike's technically done. We'll start at the front, work our way backwards. And I mean, these are all the little things, because all the big things are on the bike and found. We'll start with, first of all, there's a lock that goes right on the top of this clutch cover, much the same as that one on the top of the brake cover. This one's missing. This bike came with the smoked screen. It fits well and it's in great shape. It actually looks pretty good, but it's not stock, but we'll go without. We're being picky here, but this screw and this screw are not stock. These are supposed to match these black ones, and whoever replaced them, I like the blue, doesn't look too bad, but they're not stock. The grips. This is something I don't like. Black is best because these things get dirty in a heartbeat. So these blue grips look horrible. So we'll live with them for now, but those should be black and stock. The pegs. These pegs are in very good condition, and they're very nice actually. And they're every bit as functional as the stock ones. These here ones though, we're going to live with these I think indefinitely. If we come across some stock ones and they're easy to find, I think they're still produced by Kawasaki. If we get a deal on them, we'll replace them. But these will do just for now. The rear of the bike, there's supposed to be a plastic hugger here. I call it a hugger. It's a forward fender that comes down and butts up against the side of this chain guard. It's all plastic and it's held on with screws. There's 5 of these screws around the perimeter, the other side. I have the screws, but I don't have the fender. Still looking for one. It's no longer produced by Kawasaki. Although I've cleaned up the rear fender a lot, it's supposed to come down here. It's supposed to come down here. There's supposed to be a light here that shines down onto the tag, and then there's sockets for the 2 stock blinkers. I don't have the tag light, and I should replace this fender, but I do have the 2 indicator lights. However, we'll need to keep an eye out for one of these on eBay. It's no longer produced by Kawasaki. Although these tools are in the toolbox area, I don't have the tool bag for this bike and the band that holds it on. It sounds silly, but when you get to these old bikes, and the people who want them 100% complete, including the tool bag. So I'm going to keep an eye out for one of those on eBay also. It's no longer produced by Kawasaki, unfortunately. The exhaust system, although this is a period correct exhaust system and it's also a high exhaust system, which was very desirable, and they don't produce these anymore, it's not stock. Stock would be better, and stock would increase the value of the bike. However, we'll go with this one for now. I think this is purely acceptable. This is a stealth model, which means it's a little quieter than most of the aftermarket exhausts you could buy at the time, which is also more desirable to somebody who'd want to buy this bike. Although I've covered it off, the automotive flasher, which works fantastic, it's not stock. And that's something else that should be replaced. But for now, we're going to use this here because it serves these LED indicators in the back much better. This crankcase connector, which basically feeds into the bottom of the airbox, what it does is there's pulses of air that come out of the crankcase. All the movement inside there tends to burp up some air, pulses of air, which most environmental agencies want to go into the airbox and then be reburned back through the engine. This is supposed to have 3 fittings. There's supposed to be a proper metal fitting and a rubber pipe and then a rubber metal clamp. What somebody's done is they've clearly lost that fitting, or the rubber part that went around this one. They made a homemade one, which actually doesn't work too bad. However, this isn't correct, but it works. And they don't make this part anymore, so this is something you keep an eye for on eBay. But for now, we'll use it because it does work. The dust caps that cover off the back of these calipers is missing. It's common practice to take them off because people believe it improves airflow and thus cools the brakes better. But they're missing. And there's something we'll keep an eye for on eBay. I think Kawasaki still produces these, but I haven't investigated that yet. Braided brake lines, although they are preferable to the standard stock rubber ones, they're not stock. So this is something else that somebody would probably point out, because these ones are colored and it draws your eye to them. So these are more functional, but I think what will happen is the owner will replace the entire brake line system probably within a year or two when they service these calipers. Just drive this thing for a year or a few months anyway, get some mileage on it, and then have these all serviced and replaced. We did put the stock air filter back in, the OEM air filter, but on the back of the air box there's actually an extension snorkel. It's designed to reduce the noise, because this engine's very noisy out the intake. It's actually as noisy out the intake as it is out the exhaust, more so in stock form. But there's supposed to be a horn here, which is missing. I'm assuming it clicks in to these two holes, but it is missing. And that's something we'll keep an eye for on eBay, but that's tough. Well, that's it for this project. It was a lot of fun actually doing these videos and preparing and doing the editing and all that sort of thing. I had a lot of help with my son. He did a lot of some of the mechanical work and some of the video work. And so anyway, this bike was actually sold about halfway through this series, but they got more than what they were looking for it when it was going to be done, even though it wasn't done. So I kind of sped things along there at the end. Still a couple things to do. I'd like to do is be to change these grips back to black grips, and same goes for the pegs, but didn't get around to it. Anyway, a lot of the little tricks about saving money, that's the whole idea, is to try to do this on the cheap. So I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did, and who knows, I might do another on a different bike if I get a chance. But at the end of the day, we should take a review of the budget and see how we made out.
So the purchase of the bike was $1,600, and our ending expenses were $1,783. Where were our savings? Well, first of all, the prior owner threw in a rear tire, which saved us a lot of money. The only surprises we came across was a new front fender, as I mentioned. That was about $140. But on the opposite side, we had a jet kit to buy, and I mispriced some of the smaller items during the build. The net out, though, was $33.83, and we sold it for $56.50. Not a bad deal in the black for $22.67.